Going to look at dozens of protests which have taken to the streets of the nation's capital on the 4th of July for a Free America protest denouncing President Donald Trump's policies. Demonstrators in Washington, D.C. voiced opposition to public sector cuts, rising income inequality and migrant restrictions, one of several Independence Day protests nationwide. In Columbus, Ohio, protesters lined streets near the State House to rally against Trump's newly signed Big Beautiful Bill, a sweeping package of tax and spending cuts. Some held signs and chanted "No Kings," pushing back against what they call authoritarian overreach. And in Miami, Floridians gathered at the city's Torch of Friendship to protest both the president and the controversial Alligator Alcatraz migrant detention center, located deep in the Florida Everglades. Protesters stood in the rain carrying signs that read "Remove Trump" and "Stop this Nazi stuff." And this comes amid growing concerns over immigration crackdowns tied to new federal spending. Well, Jim, thank you for staying with us. There is, of course, discourse among many US citizens that is against Trump, but he won the popular votes, he won the presidency, he won the House, and he won the Senate. So the American people have given Trump the mandate and the power to pass through a bill like this one. Do you think these protests that we've seen continuing now on the 4th of July celebrations as well, is this a sign of a shifting mentality in the US, or is it more of a case that Trump's supporters still back him and those who didn't in the first place are now being vocal?
I think that both things can be true. First of all, I think it's just simply lamentable what Trump has been doing. I'm glad you mentioned this alligator Auschwitz or alligator Alcatraz, which Trump has pushed forward in southern Florida. And again, what this is doing is it's weaponizing the machinery of the state against American citizens. Can you rephrase the rest of your questions?
Yes, I just want to look at the shifting narrative behind Trump's support. We've seen protests in LA over migration arrests. We've seen protests, No Kings protests across the country. I just want to explore whether there is a shift in support for Trump and whether that could signal bad news for him in those 2026 midterms.
Well, Trump never really had a mandate, in fact. He swept into power with a majority of the Electoral College. But in fact, his popular support is consistently under 50%. So I would take issue with any so-called popular mandate that he claims to have. So that's one thing. But now that he's in power, what Trump is doing is taking a wrecking ball to the Constitution in case after case, and now he's bringing the weight of the military against the American people. This is nothing less than frightening, and the optics of that on America's Independence Day it's disgusting. It's stomach churning.
Jim Rice, thank you ever so much for joining us and providing your opinion and insight there. We will, of course, bring you all the updates on any further protests that take place across the United States as Trump's Big Beautiful Bill has now become law. But we first